For the last few months, I've been working on a toolbox of my own design. It was specifically created to give me a sense of joy and euphoria. It really does have everything a good toolbox should have. It has layers upon layers of tool storage, compartments, and doors, and yeah, okay, it's not that original. It's kind of just my workbench tool storage, but as a toolbox. I guess I am once again seeking the reckless thrills of specialties tool storage, but I have an addiction. Since this is quite a complex build, I skipped over the dimensioning of the stock to save some time for some more fun stuff that's more interesting. I have another video on how I made this crazy raising toolbox handle for this build, so check that out if you haven't seen it, but you can also just continue watching this. With that out of the way, I'm going to start on the toolbox with the frame. It's a white oak raised panel construction, and yeah, you could just make this from plywood, but I have a compulsive need to complexify everything, so here we are. The frame is going to use a bridle joint variation. If you know the true name of this joint, let me know in the comments. I kinda just came up with it on the spot, but I doubt it's all that original. I found the easiest method to be to cut most of the joint on the table saw and simply finishing up the 45 by hand. There's a dovetailed divider between both panels. This should be taking quite a bit of load when I pick up the box, so I want it to be strong. For small raised panels, I like to use a combination of a rebate and a bullnose router bit. It's a pretty flexible setup and I don't have to buy any specialty bits. I only started regularly using tar scrapers about 2 years ago, and I'm not sure why it took me so long. They're so efficient over sandpaper. Here is the dry fit before the glue up. The solid wood race panels have a few millimeters of play so as they move they don't crack, and I'm not going to be gluing them in place. I decided to risk putting the panels through the thickness planer, and this could have had a lot of tear out. This is really a job for a drum sander, but I don't own one and I'm too lazy to do it by hand. I find it really difficult to film jointery because my face is usually about 10 centimeters away from my work, which is probably not great for my back, my posture, or my eyes. Sadly, there was a lot of shots in this build to ruin with bad posture. I purchased my first palm router for this project, and it has been coming in more handy than I expected. It's just so much less awkward than its full-size brother. I'm not going to go into details with the veneering because frankly I did a pretty mediocre job. Since I didn't use a panel construction or plywood for the lid, I have to keep the grain going the same direction even if it's kind of awkward. There's going to be a leather wrap inlay around this toolbox, so I have to carve out a few millimeters to let that happen. This technique with the palm router can do curves and it doesn't take jigs, which makes it pretty easy. The ends of the drawers aren't going to be completely supported by the dovetails since it has a curve. This means I have to orient the wood such that the drawer faces are not going to push away but towards the drawers. Wood will always bow in the same direction away from the center of the tree. So the rings have to face this way and not this way. Personally, I don't bother using a marking knife for most of my dovetails. I would rather do a few test fits, that way I really don't need any accuracy right off the bat. But this really does just come down to personal preference. Using a rebate instead of a screw is going to make this whole drawer a lot stronger. This also adds at least a 1/4 inch of height to this drawer. The drawer slides are going to be made from aluminum, but this upside down jigsaw makes quick work of them. To attach the drawer slides, I had to use 1 screw per inch. Otherwise, the wood underneath the screws wants to compress, which raises the metal bar between the screws, which will prevent the drawers from sliding correctly. The toolbox will have a leather inlay around the perimeter, which serves the purpose of being fancy and whatnot. The bottom drawers are going to be lifted off the ground by the legs I'm going to install later on, and I love the way these exposed drawers look. They just look really good. The automatic handle I made for this toolbox in another video is actually just so it can fit in a very small locker, but you also have to lower it to open the 2 top compartments. In the next 1 or more videos, I'm going to be working on all the fun bits. All the drawers and compartments and mechanisms for the drawers and compartments, as well as the legs. So make sure you hit subscribe so you can follow that when it comes out. Well, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or wisdom you've acquired throughout the years, please feel free to leave it in the comments.